Hello good people and welcome back to Level Up Your Chess ELO. Now have a look at this position. 13-year-old Bobby Fischer plays as black against the international master strength Donald Byrne, and this game is known as the game of the century. Bobby takes, knight takes on e4 with the threat of capture. The opponent, instead of going back on e3 with the bishop, feels compelled to attack, picks a more aggressive line, and Bobby just sidesteps the queen to b6, leaving this on prise for the initiative of having the king being stuck in the center. Bishop to c4, and now knight takes on c3 was played. The idea is, if you don't capture now after takes, this is pinned. So the opponent instead tries to counter Bobby with that move. And in this position, Bobby, he's the one who needs to move next, and he plays something absolutely mind-blowing. It leads to a windmill tactic and also leads to the complete immortality of this game. If you haven't seen this game, or if you've seen it and forgot, have a look at the position and take a gander, a guess as to what Bobby played. The answer, of course, in the game. Let's boost that tactical ELO. Let's get it.
Round one, fight!
So this game took place during the third Rosenwald Trophy tournament in New York, US of A. This was 1956. Bobby's only 13, and his opponent, Donald Byrne, I don't know how old he is, but he is international master strength at best. Now, it's easy to dismiss Donald Byrne as a stepping stone, or as an easy opponent for Bobby to make this brilliancy, but Donald Byrne in 1953 was a US chess champion. And he also, I think, in that year achieved the second highest rating in the US behind Samuel Rejewski. Sorry if I'm butchering names. The point is, he is not an easy opponent. It just goes to show how strong Bobby is. Oh, before I forget, if you find this content helpful, tolerable, and you kind of like it, please leave a like and sub. You have my gratitude. Let's get started. So, Donald Byrne starts with knight to f3, knight to f6 by Bobby. You get the ready, and then knight to f6 played by black. c4, very English-like. g6 by Bobby, knight to c3, bishop to g7. Bobby's King's Indian setup was ingrained in his head even as a 13-year-old. d4 was played, and now castle, king. Bishop to f4, and then we have d5, immediately attacking the center. Queen to b3, maintaining some form of tension, and Bobby takes. Queen takes c4, now we have c6. Overprotecting d5 by a couple times, and we have e4, all practical play from both sides. Knight b to d7 by Bobby, rook to d1. You can also play this, bishop to e2 in his castle, but he doesn't. Rook to d1 first. We have knight to b6. Idea is to attack the queen and then create the opening for the light squared bishop. Queen to c5. Now bishop to g4. Bobby's pieces are all well placed, and he's got piece activity because they're well placed. He's threatening to ruin the pawn structure here. And the most astute, kind of just pragmatic response is to play bishop to e2 and then castle. Unfortunately, there must be some psychology in this game, because Donald Byrne was probably trying to assert himself to test if this kid is the real deal, and or just to see and show that he can overpower his opponent. He plays bishop to g5, which is a major inaccuracy. The point being is that the king is still stuck in the middle, and you moved your bishop twice. It's not an initiative-seeking move. You literally lose tempo here. So Bobby uncorks a tactic, because the king is still in the middle. And I don't know if you remember the game or seen it. It's a very interesting tactic, given that the only thing protecting this bishop is the knight. And it's not threatened right now, but the distance between the queen and the bishop is an L, or forkable. So given that, can you find the tactical intermezzo Bobby played that it was actually Stockfish certified when I analyzed it. The answer in 3, 2, and 1. Bobby played knight to a4, which is completely brilliant. It looks like a sacrifice at first, and it is. But he regains material, and then he gains tempo, and the king still hangs out in the middle, which is deadly in the middle game. So, in the game, queen to a3 was played. But what happens if you take this? Well then, knight to a4, knight to e4. Knight takes on e4 is the idea, hitting the queen, currently protected by this. So if you play something haphazard like that, which is a complete blunder, and we're going to mark that as a blunder, simply takes, and after that takes, and the game is just busted. It's bad. This is embarrassing. After, say, knight takes, the appropriate response is hyper aggressive and forward, bishop to e7, attacking the queen because you're attacking my queen. But then this leads to a positional exchange of pieces, starting with the pin, after takes, open check, blocks, and now takes right here. This is still hanging out, so we've got kind of equal pieces, but some pieces or pawns are attacked on the white side, but more importantly, the king is stuck. This is really bad, for the lack of a better word. Bishop to g5, knight takes, and you can pester the king here. Candidate moves like rook to b1 leads to simply take, and this is falling. And now you're in limbo, pinned. You got a knight there that you can't dislodge at this time, and still an active pin. So instead, queen to a3 was played. The opponent probably felt and saw the calculation, is shocked a bit that Fischer, he won't let him off the hook for maybe hubris is the word, or maybe just neglecting his development. So knight takes on c3, b takes on c3, and now knight takes on e4, which was the original plan anyway by Fischer. Now, mind you, it does allow this attack on e7. And this is the part where his opponent wants to outcalculate him. The difference is Fischer is intuitively a genius, and, you know, he has no idea Fischer will see this insane variation, because the more appropriate and kind of solid response is just to back off. You've lost a pawn, consolidate. So after takes and takes, and mind you, his structure is ruined, but the game is not done yet. It's just not pretty. He has the bishop pair actually, but a pawn island right there. So the knight takes on e4. This is extremely tempting to try to equalize. You got jabbed in the face, he tries to jab him in the face. Bishop to e7. Now we head to the position at the beginning of the game, queen to b6, bishop to c4, and takes. And the thing is, it isn't so simple, because if you decide to take, after queen takes on c3, it's pretty straightforward what black's plans are. Rook to e8, pinning, and after castles, simply take. This is pinned, and mind you, this pawn is really weak, and the dark rook is in the 7th rank, ready to double if need be. This is positionally winning for black, essentially, and, you know, so. Knight takes on c3. Bishop to c5. Bobby checks. Mission accomplished. The king can't really castle. And more importantly, this rook is 2, 3. Its moves behind in development. Here, Bobby, I don't know how long he's thought of the position. And I want you guys to have a look now at the position. If I didn't say it before, this game was dubbed the game of the century. So this move, this tactical intermezzo, I'd like to say it that way, is dubbed the counter of the century. It allows for an absolutely insane windmill, and if you don't take it, it's completely poisoned. The answer in 3, 2, and 1. Bobby plays bishop to e6, sacrificing the queen. Absolutely nuts, right? Okay. Let's go from the least complicated but was not played in the game. What if white plays it safe and takes on queen to c3? That queen is in a dark diagonal, so simply takes. And after takes, boom. Now double up. That's going to be a liability. There's 3 versus 2 on this side and a really well-developed rook. Right? Right. What if you take this and leave this hanging? Well, I'll leave it to you guys to look at the position as to why that is a major blunder. This is where the game turns into Misha Tal level tactics. The answer in 3, 2, and 1. Given there is control of this, and you simply sneak in queen to b5, you go here, you get mated. Right? You go here. Did you see what happens? Well, first block. Check. Knight 2. e2 check. Knight to g3 open check. Double check. Can't go here. And now, good people, what is the move? Queen to f1, sacrificing the queen. That's a brilliant move. And the king is entombed beside his 2 rooks, which should not happen in the game to be super duper impressive too. This game is super duper impressive to begin with. So white felt that the best way is to simply take the queen here, and this allows more intermezzo tactics before the capture here, and you can't just simply kind of capture it that way. Fischer calculated almost all the responses, if not all the responses, and starts with bishop to c4 check, check, capture, uninterrupted. This can't be interrupted. Check again, check. And now notice that this was protected because this pawn was munched. So now takes first with tempo. This pawn falls. Bobby protects the bishop before grabbing this and takes, and now has the second rank. It's hard to imagine what white can do here, because after that move, Bobby attacks the other rook and takes, and that's not an intermezzo, that's a spite check. Covers with bishop to f8, takes, and now centralizes everything. If and when this pawn is pushed, you can't take anything from the position. Knight to 2, e4, centralizing. Did I say you can't do anything in the position? Everything is protected. Bishop, block. Knight is inconsequential. This knight is a monster knight. I can't draw lines. This rook is really well placed. So, h4. Now h5, no counterplay for you. Knight or king to g7, king to g1, and now we start potentially a mating net. Boom, check, check, boom. Knight to e2, knight to c3, once, twice, rook to c2, checkmate. Stuns the crowd, stuns his opponent, punishes what can be punished, plays the game near flawlessly against what was once, or who was once number 2 in the US and a former US champion. So quick recap, guys. Mr. Donald Byrne unfortunately violates the principle of early development and king safety. Knight to e4 by Bobby. Opponent doesn't take, he takes. Knight to e4 is up for grabs. Instead of playing bishop to e3, he tries to counter. Tit for tat. Bobby doesn't want to engage. Bobby takes. If queen takes, simply pinned. He tries to counter Bobby, but his king is in the middle of the board. So, check. And now Bobby plays bishop to e6. If you take, check, block, check. Knight to e2. Smothered mate. So instead, he took with the queen, but now this allows the slower torture. Knight to e2. Check. Hit. Every passed, or rather minor piece is protected. Protects the bishop. Takes. Boom. Boom. Takes. And now we have this position where every piece will be protected by black and no counterplay will be given and a mating net will occur and the game is done. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I'll see you guys later. Double P's.